Hello everybody, it is Lily and I am here with a speed paint today. I just felt like making some non-objective art, and so that's what I did. I had this board here, and I don't remember what type of wood this is, but I was like, oh, you know, it would be interesting if I did some wood burning. And so I was getting ready to do some wood burning. And I've never done wood burning before, but that's probably going to be the next video. So I wanted to give myself something to start with. So I just started laying down some acrylic paint. I watered down the acrylic paint a lot, and this is typically how I like to use acrylic paints. I like to water them down, and I like to use them in layers, almost like a watercolor sort of, and build up the opacity by layering several more translucent layers. And so I decided to use some dark blues and grays, which are my favorite colors. I decided to use a monochromatic color scheme, and this is also another color scheme that I'm really into. It makes it much easier to make the painting cohesive when you're using a monochromatic color scheme. I'd recommend trying it at least once, it's pretty fun. But yeah, I was just responding to the way that these watered down paints were seeping into the wood and making these interesting different shapes and lines, and it was really fun. I like to approach my non-objective works without really an idea of where it's going and just responding to it in the moment. That's my favorite way to do abstract and non-objective art. And so here I'm using a darker color, and I'm reinforcing some of those lines with the darker blue. After, when I got to this stage, I really decided that the wood burning would just have to wait for another time because I was enjoying the painting, and I just wanted to keep painting. By the way, the acrylic paints that I'm using in this video are Arteza brand, and I'm not sponsored by Arteza or anything. Funny story, they sent me some of those watercolor brush pens a long time ago. They tried sending me some of those and some watercolor paper, and it was really great. I was going to do a video review about them. That wasn't a sponsor video either. They were just sending me some product to review. And then I came home from class, and I had a late class that day. I think I got done with class at like 7 or something. I came home from class, and the package said it was delivered on my doorstep, and I came home, and there was no package. And I asked my roommates, hey, well, my roommates are my sister and her boyfriend. I was like, hey, Michael, did you see a package? He's like, no. And so, like, it was just very unfortunate that the only package that's ever been stolen off my doorstep was the Arteza package. That made me really sad. And so then I contacted them. I was like, hey, sorry, it was stolen, so I can't do the video. And I was like, what should the next step be? What should I do next? And they basically just were like, you sure it was stolen? Let's try to track it. And then they never responded to me. Yeah. So I'm sure if I had actually bought the art supplies, because, they gave me these art supplies. Like, I think it was like $80 worth of art supplies, which is kind of insane. They were just giving them to me. I'm sure if I had actually spent $80 on these art supplies, they probably would have refunded me or sent new art supplies or something. But I can't blame them for not trusting me and thinking I was just trying to get more art supplies. Like, I get that. But it's unfortunate. I would have liked to do a review about Arteza watercolor markers. They seemed interesting. I always like trying out new stuff, so yeah, it was just unfortunate. But later on, I saw that they were selling the 60 paint tube set of artist quality acrylic paints, and I'm trying to get more into acrylic paints because they are not very toxic to your health. Yeah, just some ventilation and you're good. With like oil paints, you use like turpentine, you use a lot of fumey stuff. You need well ventilated area. So when I do oil paints, I like to do them outside. And that's a seasonal thing because in the winter, for one, the oil paints don't dry as quickly. And also, it's cold. And I don't want to go out on my porch where it's like snowy and stuff. And, well, I guess here in Portland it doesn't really snow much. But yeah, I don't want to be out in the cold, rain, painting. It doesn't sound like the most fun. So I've been getting more into acrylic paints, and that was mainly because of school too. When I was in these little portables, because they were doing construction on the art building, they were like, oh, you probably shouldn't use oil paints because we have no way to add ventilation into these portables. And I was like, oh, great. Okay. I spent a whole bunch of money on school, and you guys force us into these little portables, raise our tuition, and then say we can't use oil paints. That's great. But yeah, I don't know, looking back on it, I'm not so salty because I was kind of forced to use acrylics and actually learn that they're nice paints. If you get the artist quality paints, they're nice. The cheaper ones are really plasticky and they're not fun to work with. But the more artist quality ones, yeah, they're good. And use water. Water is a nice solvent when it comes to acrylic paints. Yeah, if you're still listening to me, like, wow, thanks for listening and watching my video. I'm sure this is probably pretty boring for a lot of people, but you're cool. You like nice art and you like listening to me talk, which isn't cool. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I find that when I do non-objective work like this, I like to make these kind of contrasting shapes of no paint and paint, kind of in these liney, drippy kind of drippy lines. I guess I already am repeating myself. Yeah, drippy lines and bubbly shapes. I find myself leaning towards these patterns quite frequently, actually. Not that I don't like making them. I feel like that's just me finding my own art style. It's when you start doing things consistently and you start noticing it. Yeah, speaking about finding your own art style, I think that's like my biggest piece of advice for people who are trying to find their art style. Just keep making art. Try new things. Don't be afraid to go gung-ho into it. Just like put everything into the medium and really see how far you can push it. And then once you start exploring and making enough art, you'll start falling into these patterns and you'll start recognizing them. Then you'll start being able to exploit those patterns and making your quote-unquote your style. You know, making art through college, I really didn't know what I was doing. I started with realism. Well, okay. First, I started with cartooning and anime. And then I went to college. And then I started doing realism. And I was getting pretty good at realism. And I was kind of bored. So I was like, let's start doing this magical realism stuff. And so I started painting like jellyfish in the sky. And like a snail that's like a city. Mont Saint Miss Snail. That's my little pun. Yeah, so I started drawing these kind of fantastical creatures doing interesting things like a deer with some pancakes or stag beetle or baking some cookies. Things like that. And it was fun and people liked them and they were charming. People thought they were funny and silly and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that that's great. And I really do like the art that I made during that time. But my fine art, I feel like it's just progressing into this non-objective mode where I just start making and I see where the art takes me and I respond to that. And that's really fun for me. I just put on some music, Favorite bands right now, Joywave, always. I love Joywave. They're my favorite. I'm gonna go see them next week in Redmond. So excited. If anyone perhaps is listening to this and goes to that concert, definitely try to say hi to me. I wear glasses. My face is in the pancake video. If you want to know what I look like, it's in the pancake video. If you happen to be at that concert, come say hi to me, and that would be cool. It's probably not going to happen, but I just put myself out there just in case. It's funny because, this is a small community. My mom said that she met someone at this little thing called Art on the Green. She said she met someone who watched a few of my videos. And I'm like, highly suspicious that didn't actually happen. I'm like, I don't know if this is, if the world's this small. But if it did, that's pretty cool. And someday I would like to meet my subscribers. I think that'd be really neat. Anyway, music that I'm listening to right now. Okay. Joywave, Young the Giant, Hippocampus. Been really into Hippocampus recently. They released a new album, and it is slapping. Floor, that's a pretty interesting band right there. VHS Collection, that was great. Two Door Cinema Club just released a new album. It's pretty good. Yeah, I like indie rock kind of stuff, alternative music. So yeah, I put on music and then I just start painting, and it's relaxing. And I painted this all in one night. I was just so in the zone. I painted until my eyes could no longer focus, and I haven't experienced a passion to paint like that in quite a while. And I was like, wow, I'm in my groove. This is great. I want to keep painting forever, but my eyes can't physically handle this right now. So I had to, paint until I thought it was done and then give my face a rest. I'm happy with how it turned out. My mom, I sent her a picture of it and she said it was creepy. And it was kind of spooky and kind of scared her. And so then I flipped it upside down and then she's like, okay, that's better. So I suppose if it's displayed one way, it's spooky. And if it's displayed the other way, it's not spooky. And I find that very interesting. Wonder why the human brain thinks like that, pattern recognition and stuff. Yeah. My friend Nathan, though, he likes it displayed the spooky way. But the majority of people I've talked to like it displayed, quote unquote, upside down. How I had not originally intended it to be displayed. So, I guess that's the new right side up. Because, this stuff's all subjective, really. You could display it sideways. I'd be fine with it. I think that's all I have to say, really. Thanks for listening to me ramble. If you like these kind of speed painty videos, and where I just kind of talk about nothing for, 10 minutes, let me know, and I'll do some more of them, I suppose. Definitely want to paint on wood more, and I want to do some wood burning in the future. Anyway, I just want to thank you for checking out this video, and I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!